The Henry Stickmin Collection by Puffballs United is a choose-your-own-adventure comedy game that came out in 2020, but it actually started 12 years before that in 2008 on Newgrounds with Breaking the Bank. This game then evolved into being one of the greatest choose-your-own-adventure games with more episodes over the course of 12 years. Rich with humor, action, and even some emotion. Not a AAA masterpiece, but still a favorite of mine. So let's go over why the Henry Stickmin Collection is a genius masterpiece. Let's quickly go through the first few installments and talk about why they are good. Breaking the Bank in 2008, which only includes one choice, existing just to establish that Henry, our little silent friend, is a criminal. And also look at the comparison from 2008 to 2020 when it was remastered. I mean, yeah, for the actual Henry Stickmin Collection game on Steam, all 5 episodes were completely reworked, and the final episode, completing the mission, came with it. Insanely impressive for a 2-person team. Escaping the Prison came out in 2010 and entails Henry escaping the prison. Simple, but now brings in more choices and paths and introduces us to QuickTime events. 3 different endings with a bunch of references. If there's one thing that Henry Stickmin is absolute perfect at, references. In Escaping the Prison alone, there are references to The Devil's Advocate, Tank Man from Newgrounds, Liar Liar, Better Call Saul, Futurama, The Matrix, SSB Brawl, Laser Guy, and even this song. That's just Escaping the Prison. Others have so much more that if I were to name all of them, I couldn't. There's videos out there that are multiple hours of just finding all the references in Henry Stickmin. Stealing the Diamond also came out in 2010, and it introduces us to Center for Chaos Containment, which of course does not contain the shit that happens in this game. Also, again, just to show the insane comparison, this is what Stealing the Diamond used to look like, and now it looks like this. The amount of work a 2-person team did to all of these episodes, plus completing the mission, is just astonishing. There are also so many funny ideas that were made into fails for Stealing the Diamond, like the Gompa! In 2013, the game changed for the better with Infiltrating the Airship, introducing the two-sided conflict and the true story of the Henry Stickmin games. The government and the peak character of the franchise, Charles Calvin. And with Charles comes his running gag that literally never gets old because every time it comes up, it's always different. This episode also introduces us to the main villains of the franchise, the Top Hat Clan, which instated an obsession with top hats for some reason with me, but anyways, to sum this up, Top Hat's really cool and funny. The airship is also really cool. Unlike the previous 3 installments, not everything always happens. Yeah, he always infiltrates the airship, but half the endings don't include the airship or the Top Hats being arrested, which impacts the future of the game. Also, a fake ending where he steals a teddy bear. Again, something that Henry Stickmin does incredibly well, which I'll keep saying, is story building. Everything builds on itself. Whatever doesn't happen changes the ending of a future episode. Even the package from Escaping the Prison has an entire backstory to why it exists. It's a full loop created by some sort of real fail-safe multiverse thing that makes you think, do the fails actually happen? I'll talk about that more later, but it doesn't matter because I'm still going to choose each one of these fails. They're fucking crazy. The other main character besides Henry and good boy Charles is Ellie, introduced in Fleeing the Complex in 2015. Like I said about always building for the future, this just looks like another entry in the random activities of Henry Stickmin, but no, it builds off ITA and shows that Henry shouldn't be here. He was pardoned, and the warden guy is just an asshole. Before FTC and ITA, there weren't really any villains. Maybe Chaos Containment, but not really since they showed up once and didn't really affect anything. But now we have 2 established villains, 2 established main characters next to Henry, and 3 possible ways he can go about completing the mission. Because everything comes circle with the probably final installment in the collection, completing the mission. A full new addition to the quality of the animation. Like I said, a rework of all the previous installments to make them way better, and CTM itself has 16 endings and 164 fails. This is easily the best episode of the game. There's no competition. And before I get into the actual content of CPM, I'm going to talk about the structure of this episode. The first 3 episodes follow Henry's villain side, which presents the basic path for Henry's future, with different paths forms on the way. In the beginning, he fails at breaking the bank.
Smash.
But in all the following 2 installments, every ending consists of Henry succeeding at being a criminal. But in the following, nothing always goes the same. Yes, he always infiltrates the airship, and he always flees the complex. But in all these endings, they all heavily vary. In ITA, he either sides with the Top Hats, gets pardoned by the government and befriends Charles, or keeps his original ways and steals the Romanian ruby, which all play different roles and affect completing the mission. As well as in FTC, where Henry either escapes with Ellie, never meets Ellie, betrays Ellie, gets betrayed, or fucking dies. Nah, he's okay, but with a cool spin you never see coming in an actual genius way, especially because the only way to get this ending is by running out the clock. Kinda how I've been doing this when working on this video. All of these different turns and twists build up to the insane variety of completing the mission, which combine all the endings from ITA and FTC together. Choose endings from each one of these to get an ending in CTM. Want to be an OG in Steel? Clean them out. Which, by the way, the ending screen has an Animal Crossing fossil, a Minecraft diamond helmet, probably something from Zelda, and other stuff I'm not sure. Want to steal on a train? Little nest egg. Want to join the Top Hats with Ellie? Yes. Take down the Top Hats with Ellie? Yes. Take down the Top Hats with Charles? Yes. Take down the Top Hats with Charles and Ellie? Yes. Finally kill the motherfucking warden? Yes. You can do literally everything you've ever done in these games, but put at the max. Which are canon, which endings are canon, it's up to you to decide that. Personally, I think either Triple Threat or Valiant Hero are the 2 real canon ones, as well as the Multiverse and Balance side ending, which, by the way, is very cool, and I will talk about that soon. Those 2 endings, though, Triple Threat and Valiant Hero, are really my favorite. A fun squad of the best characters, and both the Top Hats and the Wall can suck it, and you have a sadder ending than the end of Red Dead 2.
I got some jelly beans.
But all these endings are fun, short, long, absolutely absurd, or just really sad. The amount of creativity and effort that went into every little thing is just amazing. I want a movie for this man. I don't know how it would work. Maybe an opening scene that's stealing the diamond or something, and then all the 8 ITA and FTC shit, and then a combination of Triple Threat and Valiant Hero. I will literally buy thousands of tickets if this movie gets made one day. But even if that happens, in the game, what could be the canon ending? I mean, Puffballs literally said every ending is canon, so what actually happens? I think 2 Left Thumbs' video about this sums up the actual genius behind it. Like I said before about how everything builds and gets more complicated. No matter what happens in breaking the bank, he is sent to jail. In escaping the prison, no matter what happens, he is sent that package and he escapes. In stealing a diamond, he will always steal the diamond. But then it switches in infiltrating the airship. I know I'm repeating stuff, but let me cook for a second. He either joins the Top Hats, gets pardoned, steals the ruby, and leaves, or teams up with the government. In fleeing the complex, no matter if he calls Charles or Copperbottom, and if he teams up with Ellie or not, he will escape, and he will always find his way to that launch site, one way or another. Or the airship going to the launch site. But if he teams up, steals, Charles died, or even if he dies at the end of Revenge, he will complete the mission. But the fails also exist. The Chaos Containment and Multiverse Imbalance presents the idea that the Henry Stickmin collection is the embodiment of Eternalism, described that time is always happening at once, that from the Big Bang to the heat death of the universe happens simultaneously, the equal existence of all time. Henry Stickmin himself and Chaos Containment seem to be the only entities that know of the crossing multiverse. Throughout the story, Henry gets more and more hesitant and angry at the teleporter, until he finally snaps and breaks it in completing the mission, which is the only time the teleporter isn't a fail. Charles states that he always wanted to do that.
I've always wanted to do that.
When crashing into the orbital station in Valiant Hero. He's done this twice before, and we know that, but shown by Henry frantically trying to avoid it, he knows what Charles will do. He knows what Charles has done before. Henry is aware of all the failures he has done, and which is why he can finally succeed after all the fails that he's already encountered. The Multiverse and Balance ending shows Chaos Containment needing to manage the extended realities and simultaneous chaos of Henry's roots. He will always end up at the launch site, but what he does always varies. To contain it, they will have to have someone who actually sends the package to Henry and escaping the prison, so everything doesn't collapse. Which is why the package is sent by CCC to complete the loop and to possibly end the constant loop of Henry's adventure. Which is why there will most likely never be another Henry game, because how is there anywhere to go? If he experienced everything, which path does he follow afterwards? So many questions, yet no possible answer. Which is just an insane layer that I did not even realize until making this video. Again, I suggest you check out Two Left Thumbs' video on it, because it explains a lot of mine, what I just said, but like, better, and also not in a jumbled mess. But for now, the Henry Stickmin collection is a hilarious game, packed with funny fails, funny endings, actually really good music. I never mentioned that, but the music in this game is absolute fire. Thousands of references, great characters, great plot outline, great story in general, pretty funny achievements, especially in the bio ones. Man, that gets the kick out of me. And finally, a great way to wrap the game in a multiversal, chaos-contained way. Thanks, Puffballs United, for creating such a genius yet simple game that you don't see often anymore. It's $15 on Steam. Buy it. If you don't have the money, use your mom's credit card. Try to avoid spoilers. It's better to play it without knowing anything, but if you're watching this video, then you've been spoiled quite a lot. I did warn you, though. I hope you enjoyed me talk about Henry Stickmin for whoever knows how long. I don't know how long I've been here talking about this. Thank you for watching. I'm proud of you. Okay.